Right now, somewhere in California, a robot is picking strawberries at 3 a.m. In Texas, lasers are obliterating weeds with surgical precision. And across Europe, autonomous machines are handling everything from grape harvesting to apple picking with superhuman speed. This is farming in 2025, and it's absolutely mind-blowing. Let's start with one of the most impressive innovations in this space, the Harvest CROO strawberry harvester. This robot is revolutionizing one of agriculture's most delicate tasks. Think about picking a strawberry. It requires careful judgment about ripeness, gentle handling to avoid bruising, and quick decision-making. Now imagine a robot that can do all that faster than a human. The Harvest CROO uses multiple robotic components working in perfect synchronization, along with advanced computer vision to identify ripe berries. But here's what's truly remarkable. It can analyze a strawberry plant in 8 seconds and move to the next one in just 1.5 seconds. The robot processes an astounding 30 gigabytes of data per second to make its decisions. To put that in perspective, that's like downloading several high-definition movies every second. Except instead of movies, it's processing detailed information about each strawberry's size, color, and ripeness. The machine uses a patented system with soft claws on a picking wheel, allowing it to move around the plant and harvest at commercial speeds without damaging the delicate fruit. But the strawberry fields aren't the only place where robots are making their mark. Enter Tortuga AgTech's harvesting robots, which are taking on both strawberries and grapes. They have created fruit-picking robots that are so good at their job that they're giving human harvesters a run for their money. We're talking about machines that get it right 98% of the time when picking strawberries and grapes. And get this, you only need one person to watch over an entire squad of these robots while they work. What makes these robots special is their dual-arm precision. They've got these two robotic arms that move with incredible precision. The robot gently tests each piece of fruit, figures out the perfect angle to pick it, and handles it so carefully you'd think it actually cares about bruising the fruit. But let's get quite technical, shall we? Because inside each robot, there are 20 different AI systems all working together. Each one is handling a different part of the job. One's checking if the fruit is ripe, another's planning the perfect path to reach it, and another's making sure the grip pressure is just right. It's like having 20 expert fruit pickers packed into one machine. They're so sophisticated that they can work without GPS or wireless signals, using their own sensors to navigate through the fields autonomously. Moving from fruit to a different kind of challenge, let's talk about FFRobotics and their remarkable apple-picking robot. This machine is doing something that's particularly fascinating. It's mimicking the motion of a human hand while picking apples, and it's doing it 10 times faster than human pickers. The system uses computer vision to identify ripe apples and can work up to 20 hours per day, even at night, with artificial lighting. When you do the math, that's about 30 tons of picked fruits per day. But what's really impressive about the FF Robot is its precision. It can reach about 90% of the fruits on a tree in a fruiting wall-configured orchard, with only about 5% damage to the fruits. That's approaching human-level accuracy, but at a much faster pace. The robot doesn't just pick fruit, it's collecting valuable data about each tree, including the number of fruits, their quality, and even information about tree structure that can help farmers improve their orchards over time. Now let's shift gears and talk about one of the most innovative approaches to weed control we've ever seen. Carbon Robotics has created something called the LaserWeeder. And yes, it's exactly what it sounds like, a robot that kills weeds with lasers. This isn't just cool technology for the sake of being cool, it's solving a real problem in a remarkably efficient way. The LaserWeeder can identify and eliminate up to 5,000 weeds per minute with sub-millimeter accuracy. Think about that. This machine is making thousands of precise decisions every minute, distinguishing between crops and weeds, and then literally zapping the weeds with laser precision. The system is so effective, it can outperform a hand crew of 75 people. That's not just impressive technology, it's a game changer for farmers struggling with labor shortages. But what's really fascinating about the LaserWeeder is its learning capability. It uses an AI system called Carbon AI that's been trained on over 40 million labeled plants from 3 continents. This means the system is constantly getting better at identifying different types of plants in different conditions. The latest version, the G2, is twice as fast as its predecessor and includes a Starlink satellite antenna for high bandwidth connection to the cloud. Speaking of weed control, there's another robot taking a completely different approach. While everyone else was building lasers and chemical sprayers, the team at FFRobotics went in another direction. They have created R2Weed2, and you can tell they definitely had some fun with that name. But don't let the playful name fool you. This robot is revolutionizing how we deal with weeds. Instead of zapping or spraying, R2Weed2 actually reaches down and pulls weeds straight out of the ground. It uses advanced AI to scan the field, and when it spots a weed, it calculates the exact force needed to remove it without disturbing the surrounding crops. The robot's so precise, it can work right up next to valuable plants without damaging them. But here's the really brilliant part. While R2Weed2 is moving through the fields pulling weeds, it's doing way more than just cleaning up. Its sensors are constantly collecting data about everything they encounter. We're talking about soil moisture levels, soil composition, temperature variations across the field, and even early signs of plant diseases. Every single pass through the field creates a detailed map of what's happening underground. Farmers can use this information to spot problems before they become visible, adjust irrigation patterns, or figure out exactly which areas need more attention. It's basically turning the tedious job of weeding into a goldmine of agricultural intelligence. Then there's Dino from Nio Technologies. But this isn't your basic automated machine. Dino is built for serious agricultural work across huge fields, and it's packed with some incredible technology. You can literally program it to take care of your entire farm on a schedule. Want the north field weeded every Monday, the south field every Wednesday? Just set it up once, and Dino takes care of the rest. It uses ultra-precise GPS guidance to know exactly where it is and where it needs to go. The machine moves through the fields at about 4 kilometers per hour, methodically working row by row. The numbers on this thing are pretty mind-blowing. In a single 8-hour shift, Dino can clean up 4.8 hectares of farmland. That's about 6 soccer fields worth of weeding in just one day. And because it's electric, it's doing all this without spewing exhaust into the air. The robot has 4 powerful electric motors and a battery system that keeps it running all day long. It's already being used in farms across Canada, Europe, and Japan, and farmers are seeing real results. Sure, at around $220,000, it's not cheap, but many farmers are finding creative ways to access the technology, like sharing one machine between several farms or using leasing programs. Let's switch gears and talk about something from FFRobotics that's completely transforming landscape management. They've created this autonomous mower called the M52, and it's next level. This machine is absolutely packed with technology. It has 12 different sensors mounted all around it that give it complete awareness of its surroundings in every direction. When it's moving across a field, it can spot and avoid everything from trees to small rocks to people. The latest version they've just released is even more impressive. They've boosted the battery capacity by 25%, which means this thing can now work literally all day long on huge commercial properties without needing a recharge, and they've completely redesigned the control panel to make it super easy to use. We're talking about a big touchscreen that shows you everything happening in real time, plus an app that lets you control the mower from your phone. The last robots we need to talk about come from the small robot company in the UK, and they've come up with something brilliant. A team of 3 robots named Tom, Dick, and Harry. Yeah, those are their actual names, but don't let that fool you. These machines are doing some advanced work. Let me break down how they work together. Tom goes first. It's basically the scout of the group. This robot moves across the fields creating incredibly detailed maps of every single plant and weed. We're not just talking about basic images here. Tom builds a complete digital profile of the field, showing exactly where every crop is growing, where the weeds are popping up, and what's happening with the soil in different areas. Then there's Dick, which uses all that mapping data to do something really smart. It knows exactly where every weed is and only applies treatments to those specific spots. This is huge because most farmers today have to spray their entire fields with herbicides just to deal with weeds that might only be growing in a tiny fraction of the area. The company's CEO actually ran the numbers. Turns out weeds typically only cover about 3% of a field. So why waste chemicals on the other 97%? And finally, there's Harry, the precision seeding specialist. This robot places each seed exactly where it needs to go, at exactly the right depth, with perfect spacing. It's currently being used by 50 wheat farmers in Britain, and they're seeing real results. The system is so precise that farmers are using way less chemicals and getting better yields from their land. Together, they're enabling a level of precision in farming that was previously impossible. And there you have it, some of the most incredible farm robots that are revolutionizing agriculture right now. If you found this fascinating, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.